All righty. Our boy, we didn't even get to play the music or anything like that. But Jimmy, I don't know where I think he's still in Milwaukee, Maddie, but he told us to give you a shout right now. How you doing? How was Easter weekend?
I'm doing well, guys. Yeah, Easter weekend was good. I was in West Virginia with the team, so most of the teams played Thursday, Friday, Saturday in honor of Easter this week, but we didn't. We played Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we spent most of the day Easter in West Virginia. Thankfully, we won, and we flew back, and I got home last night before dark. So it wasn't too bad. I got to have dinner with my family, and so not too bad. How about you guys?
It was fun. I got a 4-year-old and a 10-month-old. So my 4-year-old loves the Easter egg hunt. My 10-month-old obviously doesn't get it yet, but my daughter, she's very into it.
Maddie, I eat so much food, dude. I feel horrible. I got to. I'm going on vacation, and I got to take my shirt off for the first time in like 3 years, and I just look sloppy, dude. And it's just, I don't know. I can't not eat. The Easter brunch. I mean, my God. Hey, what? You're in West Virginia. Like, what do you do there? Are you like, oh, yay, West Virginia, let's go to this place?
No. Like, when you go for, like, the baseball weekend, we get there Thursday. We practice. We pretty much go straight to practice. So we practice for a couple hours. Me and a couple of the other guys on staff, we grab dinner. And then, we just kind of hang out in the room. And then, you got Friday, there's a night game, so we get a workout in the morning, and then preparation. We do some meetings with the players and kind of go over some stuff, some hitting meetings and stuff. So it takes up most of your time, but we occasionally get a nice dinner. But it's mostly just kind of hanging out, playing cards, cutting it up with other guys and the staff, and so it's not too bad. But we stay right by the field, and so there's not a whole lot to do, but it was a good trip. We won 2 out of 3, and so you feel pretty good about that. And, so it wasn't too bad.
So in the Big 12, what are the best baseball atmospheres, and what are the more fun towns to visit when you're kind of making all these road trips?
Well, this year we go to Austin, so we play Texas here in a couple weeks, and that's obviously Austin, Texas is a cool spot, and they'll have a lot of fans. That'll be a big series, so that'll be a good environment. Last year we played at TCU, and they're pretty raucous. They get a lot of college kids with smart mouths to go to the games. Yeah, that's always entertaining. So. Texas Tech, they support their team. They have a big crowd. They're tough to beat in Lubbock, and also they're a little bit older crowd that likes to run their mouth, so they're pretty mouthy. But those are probably, I would say, the biggest kind of environment places as far as that goes. I'm trying to think. Kansas State, Baylor. We go to Baylor this year. I haven't been there since I've started coaching, so I don't really know what that's about. But yeah, I would say we got TCU and coming up this weekend, and they're ranked in the top 25, and it should be sold out crowds here in Stillwater at our new stadium, and it's supposed to be nice weather, and the college kids will be out. So I would expect this weekend will be a pretty big time college baseball environment.
So when you say that some of these kids are running their mouths, is that are they doing it in a good-natured heckling way, or are they taking it a little too far?
Both, probably. I'm in the dugout, and occasionally I pop my head out because I hear some nonsense going on. But one of our other coaches likes to engage, so he likes to get the back and forth going, and he's pretty witty and funny. So I think he's kind of our guy that goes back and forth between the dugout and the bullpen. And so he engaged with some of the West Virginia folks this weekend.
Oh boy!
I think there was some friendly and some ugly banter back and forth.
Oh boy!
So I think that's probably there's probably both. To be honest with you, I think there's some people that have some funny stuff it's fairly lighthearted, and then I think there's some people that try to get personal, and it gets a little bit contentious.
We're talking with Matt Holliday, brought to you by the Post Sports Bar and Grill. So you were working all weekend in Morgantown. Were you able to catch much of the Cardinals series against the Brewers? They go out there and split 4 games with the Brew Crew.
Yeah, I popped in and out. I tried to watch as much as I could, but I followed it pretty close. So, yeah, I thought they had a chance there in the 8th inning. They had put together a really good rally against Devin Williams. I just one hit short, even the ball off the bat of Carlson right there. On the, I guess now with the shifts, you never know what's a hit anymore, anyways. But off the bat, I thought it might be a hit up the middle, and so they came up a little short yesterday, but I thought they played pretty well, all things considered. To go into Milwaukee in a 4-game set and split, I think is about what to expect. I think particularly at this time in the season, you feel pretty good about that. And head down to Miami, and if you can split or win series on the road, you feel good about it. So. I think they played pretty well from what I could tell. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to watch all the games, but Albert hits the big homer yesterday. Seems to be swinging the bat pretty well. Kisner continues to have good at bats, and that dynamic is interesting to watch. Him getting 3 starts in a row makes me wonder if there's something bothering Yachty, or if this is just kind of the way it's going to look this season, where if Kisner's swinging the bat well, or if Yachty's swinging the bat well, whoever's kind of riding the hot hand, if that's going to be Ollie's sort of method to who catches more. And, just interesting, like the new bar and the Dickerson and the Albert situation at DH, and how he's going to try to maybe rotate and get, Nolan and Goldie maybe off their feet and let them DH here and there. So it's interesting. It was good to see Matt's pitched well, bounce back after his first outing, and give him a very good start. So it's interesting. A lot of these guys, some of these bullpen guys I haven't seen pitch before, so trying to get my eyes on a little bit of that. But all in all, I'd say it's a pretty good weekend when you go to Milwaukee and split 2 in a 4-game series set.
Matt, do you have any good stories playing on Easter, just coming up when you were playing in the league? Any funny stories? Anybody dress up as an Easter bunny in the clubhouse one year?
I don't. I'm sure there was something funny, but I don't remember any over the top Easter stories. I wish I could. I thought, let's see. I don't have anything for you, and that's frustrating as a guest on a radio show. Usually
that's a tough question, though. That's a tough question.
Yeah,
when they put you on, it's like, tell me a story of this, and you're like, damn, I don't know if I have one.
Yeah, outside of one of your guys dressing up as a huge bunny, outside of that, I don't know that there's anything worth sharing, which never happened. So I don't remember anything specific. I do remember, just being away from your family a lot of times on Easter, which is tough.
That's true.
Well, how about this? Ever as a dad, did you ever do? I think it's cool, but also some people think it's creepy if you dress up like an Easter bunny. I remember Chris Long was telling this story that his dad did this and absolutely freaked out his kids, and the kids were just scared to death.
I'm not a big, I would never put an Easter, but I'm not a big furry guy. I'm these people that nowadays, my son goes to junior high, and he's like, yeah, Dad, we got furries. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, people that dress up like animals that go to school. I'm like, really?
Wow.
This whole, some of this trend of these furry people are.
Wait. Sorry, Matt. Wait, so you said that they're dressing up as animals and acting like animals at school?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, yes, they dress up like animals. Yeah, and I guess that's allowed. This is I haven't been to school in a while. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, no, I haven't.
But I remember one time we went to Pittsburgh, and we were staying close to the park at the Westin, and this is the first time I was exposed to furries, and we were getting on the elevator, checking in. This is a fairly nice hotel, and there's people dressed up in animal costumes, and I'm wondering, what in the world is going on around here? And I thought, so I asked, why are these adults dressed as sort of animals? Is this, and they're like, oh yeah, it's a furry convention, which again, I don't know the depths of what a furry convention features, but it was the first time where I thought, wow, adults and apparently now kids are dressing up, and I don't know if they try to act in the same behavior, and maybe they don't use words. I don't know, but it's.
Is there money in that?
How did I get on this?
I don't
remember.
Seth started it.
Well, I remember. I'm guessing. I've never been to a furry.
Dressed up like an Easter bunny.
Yeah,
no, I've never dressed up like an Easter bunny.
No, you'd be terrifying.
I've never been to a furry convention, but I think probably at night it gets a little weird. I remember the first time I'd heard about that was Entourage. Entourage. There was an episode back in the day where one of the guys was trying to date a woman, and that was her thing, was going to a furry convention. So we can leave that there.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Getting back to baseball, though, I'm wondering, so early in the season, we're trying to kind of evaluate guys based on 8 games and a couple starts and all that. So what are you looking for early in the season? I like to look up stats, and I was looking at your splits for your career, and it looked like you were pretty dang consistent average on base throughout the season, and it looked like the power. Does it take time for some guys for the power to come? I know we always talk about the weather gets nice and the power comes. Everybody's probably different in that sense, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think that's one of those deals where it's sort of, I don't know if it's weather, probably primarily weather, particularly if you start the season out in the Cincinnati, sort of Pittsburgh, like the northern colder. Like, I remember one year we started in Pittsburgh, and I think opening day was like 35 degrees, like 2016 maybe. And, like your hands, it's the ball doesn't carry as well. And, you're just, your overall comfort level of swinging and looseness it might take a while to kind of get to warmer weather. And, but I think a lot of times too, like hitting home runs is, it's once you get a lot of at bats under your belt and you're seeing, pitches every day, it starts to, I think you start to, square the ball up a little more often and your at bats are a little more consistent. So I don't know that there's any particular reason why that was maybe the case for me, other than the weather, I would say. But it is interesting to watch as far as, as the weather warms up. And I always took pride in my conditioning and my off-season training that my goal, when guys started to get tired, when you start talking about July, August, and September, when in my mind, when I was training, I was always thinking about the pitchers starting to get tired as the season was winding down, and that I would still be going full speed and still feeling super strong, and that would be my edge, and that was how it helped drive me in the off season on the days when I didn't feel like training as hard as I did. So that was always my philosophy, Charlie. That by the end of the season, I was strong as ever, and they would start to be fizzling out a little bit. So whether that was true or not, I don't know, but that's what I told myself for an edge in my mind.
Hey, Matt, what do you make of all, like, these guys are getting hit by a pitch almost? I mean, there were 2 more in the game yesterday. Mike Trout got hit on the hand. They're throwing 100 miles an hour, but do they know where it's going? How unsettling is that as a hitter, especially when they're throwing at your wrist, which is pretty imperative?
Yeah, I think it's kind of the sign of the times, right? So nowadays, the guys they go to, maybe when they're down, where in the past it was maybe older guys that pitched kind of those middle innings, or maybe when you're losing, it was an older veteran guy that would just kind of eat up innings or get outs. It seems like now they don't really pay older guys anymore for those kind of roles. They'd rather just bring up young guys that throw really hard, but maybe don't have the command yet. And so I think the command of the baseball now is probably maybe not as good as it's ever been. But I think that obviously the velocity and the stuff is as good or better than it's ever been. So I think a lot of that is sort of right-handers that are trying to throw it as hard as they can, and they run away from their arm, and they get that kind of high arm side run that runs in on guys' hands, especially right-hand hitters. So it is dangerous when you're talking about hitting guys in the hands or the forearms and those small bones that are easily breakable when guys are throwing 100 miles an hour. So it is, to me, it is concerning. I think it's why guys are wearing, elbow pads and wrist guards and all kinds of padding, when they go up there, because I do think that it's more prevalent now for these hard throwers that don't really know where it's going to come in there and just let it rip. And sometimes when they walk away from their arm, that ball sails, and so it runs high and inside, which, has always been a no-no, right? You don't throw high and inside, especially if your command's not good. Tony always used to yell at the other pitchers, like, he knew it wasn't on purpose, but if you can't pitch inside, then don't set up inside. You have to pitch away if you don't have the command to get the ball in on guys without hitting them.
Yep.
So I think that's always been an issue, but I think now more than ever is guys that primarily aim for the middle of the plate because they throw really hard and their stuff's really good, but their command is lacking, especially the younger guys.
Yeah, I'd look like Rob Gronkowski with that big elbow pad, man. I don't want to get hit in the elbow. You're crazy. Like, we got a couple more for you, Matty. Appreciate you coming on, dude. A couple from the text line. Jim and Crestwood wanted to know. He goes, ask Matt. I know you're a humble guy, but be honest with this one. Ask Matt, does he take an occasional batting practice with Oklahoma, and does he still let him sail? What?
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. Might be. I'm reading what they're telling me. And does he still hit him 400 plus feet? I know you do. You could swing that bat still.
I do. Every now and then I'll hit with them. So I like to make sure they understand that I can still do it, so maybe they'll listen to me better. But, yeah, I get in there occasionally with them, particularly on the days when the wind's blowing out, just so, it's more fun that way. But, I can still crank them pretty good. We have a hit track man or a hit tracks thing in the batting cages that tells you exit velo and all that stuff. So every now and then I get in the cage and show them that I can still dial it up in the hundreds. So I can still hit it pretty far, and I enjoy. I've always enjoyed hitting and still do. So we have some contests in the cages too, where we play back net games and stuff that I can still dominate these kids in.
You gotta take video of that, man. I need to see that.
Well, how about this? So obviously you played in the majors for 15 years, whatever it was. You got kids who are going to be, they already are good baseball players, and maybe one who's going to be a first-round pick. How about the point where we all got to that point with our dads where we could beat our dads in sports, right? And I guess sometimes maybe it never happens, but sometimes it happens when you're in junior high, high school. You remember that first time you could beat your dad playing basketball. So where are you with that? With your kids, can they beat you in any of these sports?
No, they can't. I would say Jackson, the oldest one, he can jump higher and run faster, and he can do some things as far as just some physical things that he's passed me up on. But if we played 1-on-1 in basketball, barring a full court match, which I've never heard anybody playing 1-on-1 full court. So if we played a half court 1-on-1, I would still be able to. He couldn't hold me. So, and then really, I don't. I still run things around here. You know what I mean? Like I still. There's no wrestling matches. There's no. I don't know. There's no father-son sort of duels. We play horse. I'm still winning. Like any sort of things that dads and sons play, I've still, even if we go play wiffle ball out at the wiffle ball field, I still am the alpha in this family and plan to be for a while.
I love it. Last one from me. Kurt Warner wants to chime in and ask what your least favorite ballpark to visit is, and I'm guessing Oakland.
Well, there's a few on the docket that are not great. Probably the ones everybody knows about. I mean, Tampa Bay and Oakland and the ones where, places where, they're trying desperately to get new stadiums. I didn't like playing in the cold, so San Francisco wasn't really my favorite. I mean, it's a cool ballpark right on the water, but I didn't feel like in August having to go and put my sleeves on and wear sweatshirts and the wind's blowing. I didn't love going there just because of the weather. Let me think. Most of the other places are pretty good. Especially the newer stadiums are fun to go in and see and play in. But yeah, that's probably it. I'd say I'd say Oakland, Tampa, and San Francisco were probably the consensus around the league as well. But there's always places where you don't see the ball well. They may be great stadiums, but you just, for whatever reason, the visual is not great, and you don't have a ton of success. I mean, I didn't hit really well in San Diego. I loved going to San Diego, but I didn't hit well there for some reason. I didn't see the ball, didn't have a lot of success there. So that becomes something where you're not totally pumped to go to. But yeah, so that'd be my answer.
So what about the blend though of some of the older historic stadiums that they have that baseball lore, but maybe they're not the greatest for the players because they were built in 1920 or 30 or whatever. Like I remember I grew up going to Old Tiger Stadium and I love that. I love that stadium, but I could see how players probably wouldn't love playing with it in the later years. And I know, for example, Wrigley, they've redone the clubhouses and all that, but man, walking through that sometimes. So are there parks where they're just so cool because there's the history, but man, for a player, it's probably not great with
crappy locker rooms,
the old elevator systems and all that.
Yeah, it really was that way for a while. I mean, like you said, Wrigley Field, they've redone the visitors' side now, but for a long time, for most of my career, pretty much all of it, Wrigley Field, the visiting clubhouse was really small and hard. I mean, there wasn't anywhere to go. We didn't have a batting cage on our side. There was no weight room. It was pretty, it wasn't really player friendly. I mean, obviously you love the environment and the atmosphere of a Cubs Cardinals matchup and, just a fun environment to play in. But as like you said, as far as getting there at 2:00 and having a place to kind of do your routine and get everything you wanted done before the game started, it was not optimal.
Dude, I know.
Same thing, yeah, with the Red Sox too. Like they've done a good job of kind of giving you some stuff on the visiting side. We have, they have a batting cage for the visitors now, and the clubhouse, at least a couple of years ago when I was still playing, was still really small and cramped, and it's stuck on that one side where, we lost the World Series in I think 13, and we had to wait because we couldn't even get out because you have to go all the way around to get out to the bus, and so we were basically just stuck there until all the fans sort of cleared out a little bit after celebrating. So there was some things in some of those older parks that weren't ideal, but they're always fun to play in just because of the history of the game. And as somebody that that loves the history of the game, you always enjoy playing in those environments. But like you said, the amenities for the players, Dodger Stadium, they fixed up a little bit. It used to be a tough visitor side, but they've fixed that up. So they've done a nice job in the recent years of kind of improving that part of the older stadiums.
Yeah, it's like, you're playing in Joe Louis Arena. Oh, how historic. No, that place is a dump. It was a dump. The locker room sucked. The showers had like one stream coming at you like a prison shower. It's like, no. The benches were tiny. You always, stepped on concrete. No, Joe Louis sucked. And now they got a beautiful rink. So that only goes so far when you're there all the time. Hey, Matty, appreciate you coming on, man. Go do your thing. Tell the boys we said hey, and good luck to you.
Sounds good. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
See you, buddy. See you, buddy. What a great dude.
Thank you, sir.